All right, we're starting off with our first baseman here. So we've got James starting out. In pretty much every one of these videos, I'm going to have an example of something they can improve on the left, and then something they did well on the right. So in this case, we're looking at the footwork and where we're stepping on these balls that are forehand picks. So as you can see here on the left, stepping in this direction over here, meanwhile the ball is over in this direction. So in the end, obviously he misses that ball there on the left video. Whereas on the right video, he sees the ball coming from that direction and steps more in the direction of where the ball is bounced. You can see that from the line on the floor compared to the base, the ball is not that much further away from him in this on the left-hand shot, and he completely misses it, doesn't even touch it, versus the right, where when he steps in that direction, clearly he snags it just fine. And then even furthermore, with the glove, it's close, 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 open on the left, whereas on the right, he steps, gets it open early, and then follows through with his hands in the direction that the ball is coming from. So much better job on the right hand side. Moving to Frankie now, we're looking at a backhand play. Sort of a similar situation going here, where he steps in the direction that the ball is coming from. But then also, I guess I would point out that this ball on the left is more of an intermediate hop. So you can see it bounces even before it gets in view of the screen here. And then he's got to deal with this long hop, and he just mistimes it. Versus here on the right, it is a bit of a shorter hop, which helps. But then also I think he does a better job of getting his feet more in the direction of where the ball is coming from, similar to the last clip with James. You can see where the line is relative to his foot. And again, these balls aren't too much different. In fact, I'd say this one is probably even further out compared to this one, but ends up making the play on that one. In both plays, he has glove presentation pretty much the same, which is good, and his hand motion through the ball in the direction that it's coming from is also pretty good. And lastly, at first base is Griffin. So in this one, I would say really the major difference is the hand action here, not so much the feet. So on the one on the left, he has the glove open early, but he's going from up and then really stabbing down towards the ground, and it ended up catching him in the heel, and he's not able to squeeze it on that one. Versus the one on the right, where he gets that hand action better. He gets it behind the ball and then sweeps through in the direction that the ball is traveling from. So much better job on the right hand side. All right, starting off with our infielders here, we've got Declan starting us off. On the video on the left, as he approaches the ball, he goes left, right, which is what we want, but he's way early, so that left foot is already hitting, and the ball is not hitting his glove. So he stalls out, and then he actually hits with the right again, and then the ball hits the glove, and he's very flat-footed. So then it takes him a while to come up, gather, and go. But if you look at the video on the right, he does a better job as he approaches the ball here. He gets that timing better, so he's right and then left, and the ball is hitting his glove, and he's on the move, and he's already up and gathering and towards his target. He kind of gets out of the screen there, but you get the idea. Next up, we've got Landon. So Landon on this one is want to pay attention to the glove here. So he's got the right footwork, but he's got his glove high up near his chest as he approaches. So when he goes down, he's got the right footwork, right, left, but he's not presenting the glove early. So when by the time he throws his hands out kind of last minute, he doesn't get them all the way down, and the ball ends up scooting right under him. On the video on the right, he's a little lower earlier with the glove. I'd like to see it maybe even a little bit more than that, but still a better job. And then right, left, and then also notice that he's actually getting the glove all the way down. So the tip of his glove is all the way on the track there, versus if you back up the video on the left, he never actually touches the track with the glove on that video where he does on the right side. He also has good top hand there helping him, good footwork with the right left. The timing was good, his momentum is good. Just that little nuance with the making sure the gloves presented early and obviously getting all the way down. So next we have Evan. In this particular video, we were working on our timing on the hops. And so you can see on the video on the right, on the left, he goes left, right, and he's a little too early. Obviously his foot's already hitting and the ball's not in his glove. But worse than that, the stop and momentum is he's now given himself an in-between hop. So he doesn't have the short hop and he doesn't have the long hop. So the ball's hitting pretty far out in front, and then it bounces up and he kind of comes up with it and doesn't come up with the ball. But on the video on the right, he uses his baby steps a little bit more effectively here. So he's step, 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 timing it up, and then he's given himself that short hop. So right, left, and then ball right into the glove. So that one worked out much better. And then finally, Jake, we were working on also timing our hops. So on the video on the left, he's trying to get a short hop, but he doesn't. So this is one of those things where it might be best to stop and drop step rather than just charging to give yourself that long hop. Because if he would have stopped, if he would have recognized the hop and stopped and drop stepped right there, if you see where his feet are, if he would have stayed there, that would have been perfect chest height for a long hop. But he kept coming in an effort to get that short hop, but wasn't fast enough, gave himself an in-between hop, and just got caught in between and got lost. The video on the right, he times it up better, gets that short hop. It's still a little bit probably higher than we would like for a short hop, but he makes a good play to come up with it clean. So the final group of the night was our catching group. This was Aiden, Jax, and Anthony. This is the one where I think each of them had something they were doing a little bit better than the other. So in this particular case, I still have something we'd like to improve on the left and something we did a good job with on the right, but now we're just switching between different players on the team. So this was a slide and blocking drill. So I'd say Aiden on the left side doesn't quite get that ball centered up. So two things with that. Number one, it's going to obviously leave you with a healthy bruise here if you keep routinely catching balls off the wrist and bicep. But number two, this was from a shorter distance, so that I was just flipping these balls. I was pretty much just sitting straight out of camera here, so this wasn't like live pitching. So the ball wasn't thrown that hard, and it didn't ricochet that far away. But in the game, if that was a fastball, that's not only not gonna get blocked, but not only gonna hurt, but it's not gonna get blocked well, and it's gonna ricochet away. Jax, on the other hand, if we back this up, does a pretty good job of getting centered up, and he's also, you can see the two stances here where Jax, the angle of his chest to the ground is much better, whereas Aiden is a little bit more vertical. So even if he had caught this in the chest, there's a decent chance it would have hit the chest and still ricocheted the same way that it did off his wrist, which we don't want. Whereas Jax gets that ball pretty much buried and it drops pretty much right in front of him. On the track, it rolled away, but if this was dirt, he probably could have just reached down and picked that ball up as well as it was blocked. So good job by Jax on the right-hand side. Moving to our framing drills. So in this drill, we've got Jax on the left and Anthony on the right, and we're looking at how to frame our low pitches, specifically making sure we're getting buying some strikes for our pitchers. So on the left, Jax starts his glove in where we would want it, which is low. And then as the pitch comes, we want to bring it and catch it on the way up. But Jax kind of brings it a little bit too high. So he brings it high and then catches it, and his glove is moving down. So he's moving this ball that was a strike, probably at the bottom of the zone, down out of the zone, and then brings it back up into the zone. Whereas Anthony does more what we'd want to do, which is, as you can see, he catches it on the way up. So he catches it there, probably a ball, certainly at the bottom of the zone, and then brings it straight up to the zone. The one, I guess, criticism there would be maybe bringing it up a little bit too far. We'd like to, just bring that up a hair right to the bottom of the zone. If you could stop right there, that would be just about perfect in my eyes. But he goes just a hair higher, maybe towards middle of the plate, which is fine, especially at this age group. But as you get older, maybe the less you move that glove, the better. But overall, much better motion from Anthony on the right side. And then the last drill was our pop-up and throw down to second drill. So we've got Anthony on the left and Aiden on the right. I guess my criticism of Anthony's mechanics here, catching the ball, and then as he's popping up, he's already moving this left foot out towards third base. This is a throw to second, so this is not what we want to see here. This is going to definitely take away the power, and then kind of throwing awkwardly off his back foot, and his momentum takes him out of the picture towards third base. Whereas if we look at Aiden on the right side, he does a better job of, I'd say initially also he's setting himself up in a better position with his feet. If we know there's a runner on base, particularly one that's looking to steal, dropping that back hip and foot, you can see his feet are not on plane, whereas Anthony's a little closer to square with the plate. So he's setting himself up kind of in a better position to start with. And then from the catch, the left foot is replacing, and look where his foot is in relation to the plate relative to where Anthony's foot is in relation to the plate. And all of Aiden's momentum and weight is behind that throw towards second base and finishing, following through towards second and still in the frame compared to Anthony, who's left the frame already. So much better job here on the right side on throws down to second base.